What's going on, my brother?
What's up, AJ?
Hey, why don't you go and give us a real quick little quick introduction, real quick?
Hey, this is Mighty Mike and AJ Rage of End of the Ring. We're trying out this new platform here. What's it called?
It's StreamYard. StreamYard.
StreamYard. I'm gonna give this
Yeah.
a shot. See if we can try to start getting regular again on these podcasts. Um, Anything you want to say, or should we just get right into what we're going to talk about real quick?
I think the title says it best right here. That's coming up right on the thing. Shakur Stevenson exposed again. Why don't you go ahead and just give us your quick take, Mike?
Well, me and you, we didn't expect too much from this fight. We were in Vegas a couple of days ago, the day of the weigh-in. We didn't stick around and watch the fights, obviously, but I don't think we expected too much. We know what Shakur is. Um, Shakur is another one of Bob Arum's American hype jobs. No matter how accomplished he was as an amateur or how great he's looked against hand-picked opponents, he's nothing special. He's basic. He's basic. He's got no punch. He had nothing at 130. He's got nothing at 135. And as his body continues to grow and move up, he's going to run into even more problems because he's always going to be facing the stronger guy. What did you think overall of the fight? I mean, I thought obviously it was a snooze fest.
You know,
Um,
well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
no,
Finish.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I completely agree with you and stuff. We've been saying this for years that we think that Shakur is, he's a guy that's blowing a lot of smoke out there. He's talking about nobody wants to fight him. Nobody, wants to engage him. Here you get a fighter that's actually, I think Shakur felt that power early on in the fight and right away he went into retreat mode. But I'm not going to throw everything on just Shakur. I think that De Los Santos had opportunities if he would have just done some of the basics, cutting off the ring, would have just, really kind of let his hands go at certain times. I think, he could have made things more uncomfortable for Shakur, but at the end of the day, doesn't matter what Shakur says. Bad performance or what, for him to sit here and make it look like the fans are toxic, he's the one who's toxic. If it wasn't for the fans, he'd have no career.
Yes, and they announced that attendance at around 4,500. That's being very generous. It probably was more along the lines of about 3,000, and I can only imagine how many of those tickets were comped. We went to the weigh-in. We were there right before it got started. There was nobody even in the attendance of that weigh-in. There was probably
No,
more people on the stage for the weigh-in and behind the scenes than there were actually sitting in the stands or on the seats there at T-Mobile, waiting for that weigh-in. Look at Shakur Stevenson. Of all the hype jobs that Top Rank, and you know how I feel about Top Rank, I've completely lost whatever shred of respect I've had for Top Rank has gone out of the window. They are completely, their roster is filled with nothing but low class individuals, guys that are American fighters that have low moral fiber, low character. As evidence, I mean, you can go back a couple years to go to Verdejo. You could look at Shakur Stevenson, even with that incident that he was involved in Miami a couple years ago, where they're beating up a guy in a parking lot or at a gas station. Him and three or four of his friends. Now you got Jarrell Big Baby. I'm sorry, Jarrell, the real Big Baby, whatever
Anderson,
his
yeah,
name is.
Anderson, yeah.
Jarrell Anderson. He just got arrested with possession of a gun, illegal firearm, whatever. And every single time one of these prospects hitters gets exposed, and I don't mean exposed like knocked out in one round, but I'm talking about they just don't measure up. They don't measure up. Bob Arum right now is probably scratching his head, going, "Oh God, here we go. I got another Terrence Crawford on my hands, another guy that talks a good fight and just doesn't really deliver." Shakur is the worst out of all of them. He's worse than Keyshawn. He's worse than, I mean, the only prospect that Top Rank has right now that actually goes out and fights and tries to win fights is Xander Zayas.
Yeah.
There's nobody else on that roster. Keyshawn, like
Nope.
I said, Shakur, any of these guys that Arum is so high on. Teofimo was right. Arum does show partiality to a certain segment of the boxing public, and it's just, I don't know, man. The excuses, the kid was coming out saying, "Well, I don't want to make any excuses," and then proceeds to make multiple excuses about his shoulder or he wasn't feeling well. Bob Arum came out. I don't know if you saw this, but Boxing Scene did two separate write-ups, one from Bob Arum and one from Shakur, talking about he was dealing with ailments leading up to 2-3 weeks before the fight. You name me a fighter in the history of boxing that doesn't have an ailment leading up into a fight. These guys are never 100% healthy.
No, no,
So
you're
it's
absolutely right.
just more nonsense. It's more damage control for this kid who will amount. I don't care how many belts he straps around his waist, vacant titles he wins on hand-picked guys like De Los Santos, whose claim to fame was beating a defensively flawed and suspect chin Rayo Valenzuela. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Other than Ryo, the fight against Ryo, what had De Los Santos really done to even earn a shot at 135-pound title?
Got thoroughly outboxed by William Foster III.
Exactly. There you go. So I there's just going to be, like I said, there's a lot of questions around Shakur, his attitude after the fight, apologizing to only the other fighters in attendance, like Ward, Mayweather, and Crawford, and basically telling the crowd, I don't know if you saw it, telling the public, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. Well, guess what, young man? No problem. That you made the choice easy.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. I was actually watching video. By about the 6th round, they were saying something that over 50% of the people had already left the stadium. They're walking out. Now,
Oh yeah, I
hats
saw
off.
video from the stands. People were posting stuff on social media of people booing, walking out. They
12
vehemently
rounds of
booed the
booing. 12
decision.
rounds of 12 rounds of booing, bro. And
12
it was
rounds of
such
booing.
a
And I don't know what the announcers were watching. Shakur didn't land he didn't land a clean punch until the 6th round, and it was a jab. He did nothing for the first 2-3 rounds, and if anything, neither guy really did much. But at least you can give De Los Santos those rounds because at least he was pressing the fight.
exactly. I actually rescored the fight this morning when I watched it again on BT, and I don't see how anybody doesn't give that fight to De Los Santos just based on pure aggression. Shakur just really did nothing. I mean, the fact, I mean, there were moments there I felt like I was watching Sugar Ray Leonard back in the old days when he would run from people like Tommy Hearns and stuff. It was a track meet. It was absolutely, and coming off of that, the performance by Conceição and Navarrete, it was such a letdown. I mean, at least if people got to see something there, which on another note, I honestly felt Conceição won the fight. I mean, that's me personally. I scored the fight. I thought he won the fight. They gave the fight, they called it a draw. I'd love to see it again, but you got to take your hats off to the 35-year-old veteran to hang in there tough with a guy like Navarrete. And then,
yeah, I admittedly I didn't get to see the fight. I saw the last couple rounds. I think I saw the last 3.5 rounds because I was at band rehearsal. But I watched the entire main event. But Navarrete Conceição should have been the main event, and it's a
it
shame
should
because
have
they
been.
probably each got paid a fraction of what Shakur got paid.
Well, I mean, like you said, bro. The writing's on the wall. The fans see it. I mean, come on, this guy Shakur can't. He couldn't sell literally a free event a couple days before F1. At T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. He's going back to Newark. It doesn't matter how many excuses Andre Ward, how many excuses Tim Bradley make. These guys are going to continue to make excuses. When I saw that picture that showed him and Terrence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather, I saw nothing but excuses. I saw a room full of excuses and stuff, and that's where they could stay. I mean, the bottom line is they've created this little clique of excuses and they can continue to do it. There's excuses why Terrence Crawford doesn't want to fight Tim Tszyu. There's excuses why Mayweather is still trying to hang on to boxing. There's excuses why Andre Ward hates Canelo Alvarez. And now there's excuses why Shakur Stevens can't sell a fight.
Yeah, very well said. And then I actually read a lot of people, Shakur himself, even trying to compare himself to Floyd Mayweather's career, where Floyd had some fights where he didn't look all that great. Nothing even close to this level. Most people that say that either are just willfully ignorant or they've never seen early Floyd Mayweather fight. Floyd Mayweather in his early career, me and you were actually fans of his. He fought. Floyd Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd fought. So once again, this kid acts like it doesn't bother him, but trust me, he's been stewing on this. His face has probably not left his phone screen since Thursday evening, and he's probably glued to it, reading every comment, responding back and forth on X and responding on all social media platforms, trying to tell everybody how great he is, or I had a bad night, but I'll have a good one next time. No. This is going to be his track record. This is not the first time he's fought this way. This just happened to be probably the worst of all of his exhibitions.
Well, go back and watch his fight against Nakatira. It was the same situation. He knew he was in there with the guy who could punch. Yeah, and he ran and he ran and ran. I mean, for guys like Andre Ward and Tim Bradley to say that this is boxing mastery, being a master boxer, the fact that every time somebody throws a punch at him, he jumps out of the way. That's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and then shame on Harvey Dock for not once warning Shakur Stevens about the holding or anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and then the consistent punching on the break and trying to get
every time
on the break, back of the head, side of the head.
And that is a la Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford. That's their MO. That's what they did throughout their career. And Andre Ward did that against Kovalev and others.
Yeah, Andre Ward was probably the dirtiest fighter I've seen in the modern era. Second would probably be Tim Bradley, and it's so ironic that they're usually in lockstep when it comes to talking about these ESPN and top ranked prospects. Um, you got people out there in the boxing media, the absolute bought and paid for on the payroll shills like Rick Glazer. I don't know if I told you, but I ran into Rick Glazer in Vegas a few weeks ago. You know, he's an old man. He's been involved in boxing for I don't know how many years. As you know, he brokers deals. He's not a trainer. He's not a promoter. He's never done anything. He's not a manager. But he feels so hard for Bob Arum, and I know they share a commonality. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Look it up. You'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get us canceled, but they share a commonality. And these guys shilling for Shakur Stevenson are just shameful. They're not boxing fans, bro. They're not boxing fans.
No,
because a real boxing fan would want the betterment of the sport. The betterment of the sport starts with good matchups and guys that want to. I'm not saying stand there like Gotti and Ward and just trade, but I'm talking guys that actually want to fight and not just coast to a predetermined victory, which is what De Los Santos said. He was handed this title. He had to do nothing to win this title. They just gave it to him for doing nothing, and that was going to be the case all along. All Shakur had to do was survive the 12, and they were going to give him that title.
Well, I'm actually very surprised that I haven't heard anything from the commission or any of the promoters or anything to step up and there'd be some type of penalty or some type of reaction based on just the lack of, of urgency. I mean, you would think at some point Harvey Dock would even try to, like what they do in MMA, where they try to engage the fighters. So come on, guys, let's get something going here. I mean, you saw the frustration in De Los Santos when he started turning his back. Literally, what am I doing here? But I'm going to say it again. Shame on De Los Santos. He had his opportunities. There were windows there, short windows, but there were windows there where he could have done something, but he wanted to feint. He wanted a posture, and that's just not going to do it today in boxing. But I'm going to tell you right now, bro, you touched on a great thing before we get off, is that little clique, that little club that is Top Rank is diminishing. It's dwindling. It's fading away. Little by little, they're losing all of their top people. Shakur's now been exposed. It's only a matter of time. I mean, let's be honest.
Keyshawn is next.
Well, like I said it earlier, I said, it's real simple. You want to end the sickness that is Shakur, the remedy, the medicine, the syrup is Tank Davis. Tank Davis destroys him. I mean, that's all there is to it. As much as I'm not a big
fan
I
think Devin Haney beats him and beats him handily.
Oh, I agree. And for him to even mention guys like Lomachenko, I'll box Lomachenko. No, you won't. Even at the high elevated age and long in the tooth that Lomachenko is, he makes easy work of Shakur Stevens based on what I saw, because he's not going to be a De Los Santos. He's not mediocre. He's not heavy footed where he's going to sit here and run after this guy. He's got tricks,
See, Lomachenko, we all remember a few years ago when Lomachenko pretty much stuck up the joint for the first 6 rounds against Teofimo. And then in the 7th round, second half of the fight, he turned it on and actually made it. I thought he might have edged it still, but at worst a draw. And he actually hurt Teofimo in that 10th round and had Teofimo holding on. But he will get no such resistance from Shakur Stevenson.
No.
See, Teofimo Lopez is strong and hits hard. Shakur Stevenson is neither strong nor he hits hard.
No.
He's fleet of foot and he moves well when avoiding fighters, but people act like he has this great a judge of distance and he knows how to get in and land punches and get out. He didn't land a punch until the 6th round, and it was a jab. So all this talk about this guy, so that I don't. There's nothing that my eye saw that made me even question my own initial opinion of this guy. Something where I thought, well, that was pretty good, or maybe he does have this, but he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, you're absolutely right.
So completely, vastly overrated. I mean, I hate to use the term hype job, but I'll use it hype job because the hype around him is real. It's palpable. You can cut it with a knife, and he's just not deserving of it. He's just not.
No. And the thing is, it's that, they're talking about a lot of people. One of the people too, they're talking about that wants to move down to that weight, and it's already started, and was talking about him earlier today on Twitter. And there's a fighter that I exposed you to just the other day, a young fighter who's getting ready actually to fight against Hector Tanajara. He's a guy who's only got 1 fight under his belt. He'll have 2 fights under his belt, 2 victories after he takes care of Tanajara, and that's Andy Cruz. You saw the skill level of this young guy who's come up, but compared to where they're trying to say Shakur is, and then you look at this guy, and it's like this guy's flying completely under the radar. I mean, and there's a few fighters out there like that right now. I think right now Devin Haney has a big. He's got a big. Of course, he's got to finish right now. He's got something. He's got to figure out how he's going to beat Regis Prograis right now. Shakur Stevenson should be an afterthought right now, because Regis Prograis is no pushover for anybody. I mean, he's a dangerous fighter. Ragu is actually he's serious when he says, he came from nothing. This is a guy who came from the mud of Katrina. Devin Haney doesn't understand that, but he's going to find it out in a hard way. So this is a do or die fight for him. Ryan Garcia is another one part of that club. He's got a tough fight coming up against Duarte. Duarte's not going to be no pushover. We don't know where Tank's at right now, what's coming up for him and stuff. There's been some rumors, talk about him fighting against Isaac Cruz again. We don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, the door's open up for Navarrete. Is he going to get another shot against Conceição? I really don't want to see it. I mean, let's be honest. Navarrete is a guy who's going to make an adjustment, and I think Conceição, even though he doesn't win the world title, being a guy who won the gold medal and stuff and come in there and do what he did, hats off to the guy, man. That's one great way to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it should be a lesson learned to guys like Shakur Stevens when you got a 35-year-old guy. And I know Shakur beat him, but Shakur did the same thing against Conceição. Ran, held. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is and stuff like that. But like I said, I mean, we got some good boxing coming up later on tonight and stuff like this. I watched DAZN and some of the fights earlier today and stuff with
who won between Bentley and Henley?
Actually Henley won. I honestly thought Bentley might have pulled it out.
I thought Bentley might have pulled it. They were getting way too happy with Henley.
Yeah, they gave the decision to Henley. He won the decision and stuff, which I thought was a little bit. But then again, I'm going to go back. There's been a lot of bad decisions. I did not think that Vladimir Hernandez lost against Troy Isley. I thought he won that fight. I don't know how they gave that fight to Troy Isley, but that's top rank, like you said, bro. They're setting these guys. But at the end of the day, this is what these young fighters got to understand. Even the Keyshawn Davises and all these other guys. Bob Arum set you guys up for failure. Teofimo Lopez said it best. As soon as you make the wrong move, as soon as you don't do what Bob wants you to do, as soon as Bob feels like you've insulted him, or he can't make $1 off of you, he throws you to the wayside. And
he squeezes you like an orange and throws you away.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, brother, man. But hey, like I said, I just wanted to. This is going to be one of our new formats and stuff like that. So, Mike, like I said, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll discuss. We'll get offline and discuss when we're going to do the next show. Not a whole lot going on this week, and I'm actually this Oregon State game. It just started. I'm pretty excited about it. Oregon State, Washington. Washington's up 7-0 early. DJ just ran for a first down. So let's go beat Oregon State Beavers.
Hey, real quick, what did you think? What did you think about that beating the Wazoo put on Deion Sanders in Colorado last night?
I didn't even know a game was on until this morning. I read it. I was watching TV. I didn't even know it was on.
Hey, I know that we base this show off of boxing, but sports is part of our blood. You know what I'm saying? And football is a huge part of us too. But I got to tell you right now, this whole NIL thing that's happening right now, where all these young players are becoming millionaires and stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's destroying collegiate sports. We'll dive into it deeper later on. Exactly what's happening with a lot of these guys and stuff like this, even with guys like Bo Nix. I expect a very subpar performance because of what he has to lose, and that's a scary thought, especially going up against a talent like DJU and the tough Oregon State Beavers and stuff. So I said, I'm looking forward to it, Mike. So like I said, go ahead and take us out, bro, and let's sit back and let's watch this game.
All right, sounds good. All right, for everybody tuning in, I'm Mighty Mike.
I'm AJ Rage.
We'll see you guys next time on Enter the Ring Live. Peace.